So we're actually a publicly listed company in China. And how we come about was we started as a company 25 years ago where we digitized novels and brought some of these amazing stories into a digital format. And that was where the start of the internet, right? So as you can imagine, we would have a lot of IPs, like millions of IPs and stories. And how we use these stories was we started publishing audiobooks. We started publishing devices where there were like basically families at home could listen to using these audio devices. And then subsequently, with the transition of mobile, we use these stories and we work with telcos to develop micro stories that were sent in chapters. So you subscribe the chapters via like, a telco subscription. And eventually, we launched the app called Chapters, where you could play with characters and outcomes of the characters, right? So if you could tell, right, this evolution of storytelling is quite on the trend of what microdramas is today, where the stories are being told in micro chapters and using big IPs and stories that we know online. And in 2021, the company started launching microdramas in China. We're the first to do it. And how it came about was, we were producing movies, we're producing TV series, and it costs a lot and it takes like years, 5 years to get one program out. And it's always a hit and miss, right? You spend so much time and effort and you don't really know whether if it's going to work. And that was a time where, it was like close to COVID and people were, kind of like very mobile centric. So the company started thinking, can we take these stories and tell it in a vertical format, shorter storylines, faster paced, and whether if it's going to work with lesser budget. And it did, and then in 2022, we basically incubated ReelShort, which is based out of the US. It became a huge success. Charted #1 and obviously has been #1 ever since. And more recently, we launched this app called Flareflow in the last 6 months as a competing app in the space. And it also became top 5 in the US and globally within a couple of months. So it all goes back to the idea of like we have so many stories to tell and it takes so much lesser time and effort to put out a micro drama or vertical series compared to a traditional series, which would take, like I said, years to complete. Yeah, so that's the background story of of